This young man is Gen Li, who was reincarnated into this world 18 years ago. Thanks to his extraordinary talent, he studied like crazy. He trained in all kinds of abilities with a single goal in mind, to become the absolute strongest. At the academy, he was a genius everyone admired. Today is Class Awakening Day, and Gen Li is feeling extremely anxious. Everyone believed that, with such outstanding talent, Gen Li would definitely awaken a hidden class. Classes are divided into common, advanced, and hidden. The power and difficulty of these classes increase in that order, especially the hidden ones. It is no exaggeration to say their appearance rate is 1 in 10,000. Once awakened, they grant their user unparalleled power. And obviously, when someone stands out this much, it also draws jealousy and hatred from others. This arrogant-looking kid is Ngiem 2. He is one of those who absolutely despise Gen Li. Oh, if it isn't the popular genius Gen Li, what kind of advanced class are you planning to awaken today? Ngiem 2 is one of the 3 geniuses of Common Academy. His father is a powerhouse with a gold-tier class, but at school, he was always overshadowed by Gen Li. Facing that jealous question, Gen Li simply replied calmly, "I don't know. That's why I'm here." Ngiem 2 blocked Gen Li with his arm, getting in his way. "Don't get cocky too soon. Watch out, or you might end up awakening some trash class. When that happens, don't blame me for not showing you any mercy." Gen Li looked visibly annoyed and told him to get lost, but Ngiem 2 still tried to act provocative. Without saying another word, Gen Li just glared back coldly, forcing the guy to finally pull his hand back. Actually, Gen Li wasn't surprised at all. Just as he predicted, he was bound to be the center of attention today. If his awakening failed, it would be an absolute humiliation. To put it simply, a fallen genius would become a laughingstock. One by one, the students stepped up. From Class 1, Trong Dai and Gu failed to awaken. Those who awakened common classes, don't lose heart. With hard work, leveling up is still a path full of potential. Now, I will call the next person. On the stage, a powerful light burst forth, making everyone gasp in awe and admiration. This was the sign of a highly successful awakening. His classmate Li Quan had successfully awakened an advanced class, Swiftwind Archer. The students below burst into thunderous applause. Wow, she really lives up to her name as the female genius of our Common Academy. The stage lit up once again as Ngiem 2 from Class 3 successfully awakened an advanced class, Fire Mage. Even so, Ngiem 2 still didn't look completely satisfied, but he still wore a smug grin. Although it was only an advanced class, in the eyes of others, it was already incredibly impressive. You clueless losers, don't think acting like desperate clowns is going to change anything. Talent is something you're born with. He said this to mock Gen Li, but Gen Li didn't seem to care at all. Finally, his name was called. The teachers also watched with anticipation and excitement. That was Gen Li, the top student of the entire academy. Indeed, he was a true genius. The moment Gen Li closed his eyes, a blinding aura began to radiate. Seeing this, a teacher jumped up in shock. What on earth is happening? A strange phenomenon is appearing. Could it be? Could it be a legendary hidden class? Everyone held their breath, waiting until the system announced the result. Gen Li had awakened a common class, Mage. The teacher's eyes filled with exhaustion and disappointment. What is this? Wasn't he the top student? Meanwhile, people like Ngiem 2, standing below, were absolutely thrilled. The crowd burst into laughter. "Haha, serves him right. He's not even as good as my Fire Mage." The insults and mockery grew louder and louder. What kind of genius is that? Turns out he's just a fraud. Ngiem 2 is the real deal. They immediately shifted their attitude, sucking up to Ngiem 2 and asking to form a team with him. "I'm willing to be your underling." Gen Li stood alone on the stage, speechless in the face of the barrage of insults from below. Haha, and here I thought he was an elite student. In the end, he's just a common mage. Exactly. What a huge letdown. A result like this is a total embarrassment. Did you see the principal's face? He looks completely mortified. To Gen Li, it felt as if his entire world was crashing down. No way. Is this really all I get? But in that very moment of despair, a notification panel suddenly popped up in front of Gen Li. It read, "Congratulations, host. You have awakened a unique talent. Skills automatically reach maximum level." The young man was completely flabbergasted. A unique talent? I've never heard of this before. Could it be related to my transmigration? Are these my skills? Ha, they really are mine, but they aren't at max level yet. In the notification bar were 3 skill icons. fireball, light armor, and meditation. Just a few seconds later, all skills were instantly maxed out, leaving Zhen Li utterly shocked. He was so shocked his jaw literally hit the floor. What on earth is this? He remembered his teacher saying that after awakening, every class starts with 3 skills. They all start at level 1, and as you level up, their power and effectiveness skyrocket. But for an ordinary person, leveling up a skill is insanely difficult. To this day, it is hard to believe anyone has ever maxed out a skill. Going from absolute despair, Zhang Li was instantly filled with hope and pure excitement. Turns out, maxing out a skill is actually that simple. Looks like the universe hasn't abandoned me after all. This auto-max skill is even more broken than a hidden class. Seeing Zhang Li standing there completely frozen, the principal walked over to comfort him. Zhang Li, are you listening to me? Don't lose heart, okay? Even if it is not a special class, at least you have successfully awakened. Your future still holds countless opportunities. All the teachers believe in you. Zhang Li nodded, flashing a bright smile. Thank you, principal. I will keep pushing forward. The principal continued to comfort him. All right, now pull yourself together and head back to class. Despite those comforting words, the principal felt a pang of pity deep down. Such a good kid, what a shame. Walking past the people, mocking him, Zhang Li thought to himself, people are so superficial. Instead of watching a genius succeed, they prefer to watch them crash and burn. Especially since I used to be a super genius, but I am afraid I will have to disappoint you all. Meanwhile, at the training grounds, Yanshu was showing off his abilities, practicing desperately trying to get everyone to admire him. His 2 brown-nosing lackeys stood by his side, cheering him on like crazy. You are seriously too strong, young Master Yanshu. Just then, Zhang Li walked by, and someone barked at him. Hey, you, the ordinary mage. Right after saying that, he provoked Zhang Li by shooting a blast of fire right at him. Frowning, Zhang Li turned around and asked, what do you think you are doing? Yanshu smirked mockingly. Oh, I just wanted to invite our resident super genius to show us what he's got. Zhang Li waved his hand dismissively. I am busy, forget it. You guys go ahead and play with yourselves. I do not need to practice anyway, end of story. Hearing this made Yanshu boil with rage. He aggressively stepped forward. Stop talking trash. Who said anything about practicing? I am forcing you to show us your talent. Do you have the guts? Do you dare to duel me, speechless in front of a high-tier fire mage like me, huh? At the end of the day, Zhang Li, you are nothing but a useless loser. The moment he finished speaking, Zhang Li casually flicked his wrist, sending a tiny spark flying straight toward Yanshu. The guy was still sneering arrogantly. You seriously dare to use a basic fireball spell on me? Suddenly, a massive explosion erupted behind them, making him and his 2 lackeys jump in sheer terror. What was that noise? Turning around, they were completely stunned to see all the training targets utterly obliterated, with not a single piece left standing. Yanshu stood frozen, speechless with shock. How is this even possible? An ordinary mage like you. How could you do that? Zhang Li walked away coldly, without even giving them a second glance. The power of this max-level fireball is honestly completely ridiculous. Zhang Li walked home, still thinking to himself, even though a max-level fireball is insanely powerful, that single attack just drained half of my mana. I need to level up quickly to increase my mana pool. Suddenly, a familiar voice called out, You are home? Not even a hello to your mother. Go wash your hands. Dinner is ready. His mother is named Dan Qingwu. Sitting at the dining table, her son did not hold anything back and excitedly shared, Mom, I successfully awakened today. I am a mage. Hearing this, his mother smiled happily. A mage? That is wonderful. When you join a party in the future, you can stay in the back and cast your spells from a safe distance. Oh, that is right. I have something for you. Zhang Li's curiosity piqued as his mother brought out a box. This is a keepsake your father left for you. He was also an incredibly powerful awakened back in the day. Zhang Li was absolutely stunned. My father? But did you not always tell me he passed away before I was born? And he was a powerful awakened? Then where did he go? Why did he never come looking for us all these years? Dan Qingwu sighed, her voice choking up. I do not know either. Back then, he only told me he had to go to the edge of the world because there was an extremely important matter he had to deal with. He left in a hurry, but please, do not blame your father. Your father always said he really wanted you to become a mage. That is why I always urged you to focus on the mage curriculum. As she spoke, Tears began to well up in her eyes. Now you are all grown up and a real mage. I feel a bit tired, so I am going to head to my room and rest. Go ahead and look through what is inside the box. Filled with curiosity, Zhongli stared intently at the box his father left behind, slowly opening it. A brilliant light radiated from within. Inside was a class change scroll, accompanied by a note that read, "Use this scroll to change your class to a powerful illusionist. Requirement for class change. Must be a mage class, awakened, and have reached gold rank or above." Zhongli was completely blown away when he read the class change scroll. It offered an incredibly rare class, but there was a catch. The user had to be at least a gold rank awakened. In this world, the awakened are divided into clear, strict ranks. Once they hit a certain level and meet specific requirements, they can break through to the next tier. Yantu's father is one of the top 2 awakened in all of Jin City, and even he is only at the gold rank. For his father to own a scroll of this caliber, just how powerful is he? Is he a saint, or maybe even a demigod? If he really is that powerful, why has there been absolutely no news of him for all these years? But right now, I have to focus on leveling up to reach the gold rank. Besides, the Jin City trial for the awakened is happening in 7 days. When that day comes, the most talented prodigies of this generation will show up. This is my chance to get ready. The next morning, a huge crowd gathered at the public square. Hey, check out that clueless rookie over there. He just awakened, and he's already heading out to the wild to get himself killed. Hey, who knows? Maybe he has some kind of ultra-rare, overpowered class. Are you blind? Look how scrawny and weak he is. Besides, what can a mage even do on his own? Zhongli overheard everything as he walked past. Suddenly, someone came up and patted him on the shoulder. Hey there, kiddo. Judging by your looks, you must be a newly awakened student, right? Want to party up and tag along with us? Zhongli instinctively turned around. Right then, 2 guys in the party grumbled to the woman, "Sure, we have a really important mission this time. Why should we drag along a dead weight like him?" Exactly. If he wants to get killed, that's his own business. Sure, you're being way too nice. Sure turned around and snapped at them. How can you guys say something like that? Zhongli gave a forced smile. It's fine. I appreciate the offer, but I can handle things on my own. He waved goodbye, but Sure ran over to stop him. Wait. If you don't want to join our party, at least take this. She handed him a mana potion. You're a mage too, so you'll definitely need this later. Zhongli accepted it, a warm smile spreading across his face at the stranger's kindness. Thank you so much. Shuer waved back. We'll head out first then. Take care of yourself. Deep inside the gray forest, a level 4 giant goblin suddenly appeared. Zhongli hid behind a massive branch, watching his target. Waiting for the perfect opening, he hurled a fireball right at it. The goblin couldn't even react, watching helplessly as the blazing fireball hurtled straight toward its face. A massive, earth-shaking explosion blasted the area. When Zhongli walked over, the monster had completely vaporized without a trace. He was absolutely thrilled. As expected of a max-level fireball skill, one-shotting a level 4 goblin was a total piece of cake. But the massive blast quickly caught the attention of other monsters nearby. They snapped their heads in his direction, and a massive horde began charging toward him like a giant tidal wave. Zhongli smiled to himself, lured in by the noise. Huh? Well, this is actually perfect. Saves me the trouble of hunting them down one by one. Just as the horde was about to pounce, he activated a skill. Zhongli cast light armor. A barrier manifested instantly, blocking every single goblin attack. From inside his shield, he smirked with pure contempt. Did you brainless pests really think you could break a max-level light armor shield? Moments later, Zhongli's fireball skill finished its cooldown. He slammed a powerful blast directly into the rocky ground, sending the entire horde flying from the shockwave. A system notification chimed. Level up. He had reached level 2. But for Zhongli, this amount of experience points was still way too small. As he was pondering, another wave of goblins rushed toward him. Zhongli smirked. Bring it on. No matter how many of you show up, the ending is going to be exactly the same. He raised his hand to snap his fingers and cast fireball again, but reality hit him hard. This time, no fireball appeared. Zhongli froze in sheer confusion, having no idea what just went wrong. He quickly pulled up his status screen and gasped. What the heck? I'm out of mana? He had only cast 2 fireballs and 1 light armor shield, yet his mana pool was already completely bone dry. Zhongli muttered. Did my mana consumption shoot up because I leveled up? But as he checked his defense, He let out a sigh of relief. The barrier from his light armor skill still had half its durability left. He thought, once I clear out this batch, I can just use meditation to recover my mana. Besides, these weaklings can't even scratch my shield. Youngli bent down and picked up a wooden club dropped by a goblin that had just kicked the bucket. He pointed it straight at the oncoming horde and smirked. All right, guys, time to be my punching bags. Let me show you the true power of a battle mage. He swung the club hard at a goblin, but its health bar only dropped by a measly 10 points. Honestly, that damage was basically like a light tickle. Zheng Li sighed in disappointment. Yeah, his physical damage was absolute trash, but it was still good enough, especially since those monsters couldn't even land a single scratch on him anyway. After a long and intense battle, the protective shield from Zhang Li's light armor skill finally ran out. But on the bright side, he had completely wiped out the entire horde of monsters. Wiping the sweat from his forehead, he sighed. Finally, that's taken care of. His physical damage was just way too low. His level went up by one more. Right now, Zhang Li only possessed a single offensive spell, Fireball, but his current mana pool was only enough to cast it exactly 2 times. Not to mention his light armor skill also consumed a massive amount. He realized that fighting like this was way too slow. Suddenly, a massive noise echoed through the forest, sending flocks of birds scattering in panic. Zhang Li stared in that direction. Hearing the noise, he wondered if it was a giant goblin. Then, he gasped as he realized an elite monster had just spawned. Defeating an elite in the early game would definitely yield a massive amount of experience. Talk about perfect timing, he smiled to himself. But when he tried to activate his light armor skill, nothing happened. Checking his stats, he realized his mana was completely drained. Oh crap, this is bad. The level 10 giant axe goblin angrily swung its massive axe, getting ready to strike him down. There was no way Zhang Li could face it head-on. He had no choice but to dodge to the side. Drenched in sweat, he thought to himself, I am in deep trouble. But right behind him, smaller goblins started appearing as well. Zhang Li looked back. I almost forgot about these small-time pests. In this life-or-death situation, Zhang Li told himself to stay calm and find a way out. He considered his first option, which was to find an opening to use his meditation spell and recover his mana. But in this situation, there wasn't a single opening. The second option was to use his only mana potion. However, this potion would restore less than 1/3 of his mana, which was only enough to activate his light armor, but not to attack. The third option was to temporarily retreat, recover, and then come back. But running away wasn't his style. If he retreated and waited for his mana to naturally recover, it would take up to 24 hours. By then, someone else might steal the elite monster. He made his decision. Quick as a flash, Zhang Li popped open the mana potion, chugged it down, and threw the empty bottle aside. Just as the giant axe goblin brought its weapon down, he activated his light armor. Right on cue, the shield materialized and blocked the strike. Meanwhile, Zhang Li sat down and began meditating to regenerate his mana. The giant axe goblin frantically pounded against his defense, but it couldn't break through. Time ticked by, and just as the shield was about to shatter, Zhang Li's mana was more than half restored. He stood up with a sharp glare and said, All right, that's enough. Aren't you tired of hitting me yet? Zhang Li pointed his finger at the boss and blasted it with a powerful fireball. The sphere flew straight into the giant axe goblin's weak point, blasting it backward into the smaller monsters and causing a massive explosion. A system notification popped up. Weak point successfully attacked, dealing critical damage. Zhang Li wiped the sweat from his forehead. That was close. A max-level meditation skill really comes in handy. Just then, another notification rang out. Level increased by 4. Current level is 7. The young man was absolutely thrilled. Power leveling by taking down an elite monster had indeed boosted him by 4 levels all at once. Zhang Li walked over to the pile of corpses to see if he could loot any good gear. Oh, 2 HTS-grade gear pieces, the agility gloves, and refined boots. But considering my current combat power, if I don't kill the monsters, they'll kill me. Upgrading this beginner gear probably wouldn't change much, and it looks pretty ugly too. I'll just keep it for now and sell it when I get the chance. Besides, with my current mana pool, I still can't cast a third fireball at maximum power. On top of that, having to risk my life every time to lure monsters into one spot is so inefficient. Grinding mobs all day like this doesn't even compare to taking down a single elite. If only I had some other low mana area of effect skills. But just as he was feeling discouraged, Zhang Li suddenly spotted a book. His eyes instantly lit up as if he had struck gold. Oh my god, it turns out this is a skill book. What's more, even a beginner class player can learn it. I wonder what kind of skill it is. Right then, a bolt of lightning shot out from the skill book, leaving Zhang Li completely stunned. Void lightning. I remember this is a wide-range area of effect skill. Void lightning level 100 has a cooldown of just 0.5 seconds and costs only 6 mana points. It can chain through multiple targets, bringing along a paralysis effect. Its damage also scales with the user's level. Zhang Li burst into happy laughter. So this is a scaling skill, and it even has a crowd control effect. I can't wait to test it out. Time passed, and deep within the forest, a pack of goblins was fast asleep in their camp. Suddenly, a surge of lightning struck down, leaving the monsters completely paralyzed and enraged. Zhang Li continued to unleash his power. If one strike isn't enough to finish them off, then just hit them with another. The monsters immediately took the full brunt of yet another lightning blast. This time, they've been completely wiped out. Zhang Li thought to himself, although the damage isn't as high as a fireball, well, casting Void Lightning 4 times costs the same mana as a single fireball, and the cooldown is way faster. Plus, I don't even have to gather the mobs together. Isn't this exactly what I need? Now I finally have a way to clear out these annoying weaklings. My next target is the area boss of the Grey Forest. If even an elite monster drops rewards and experience this good, the area boss is definitely going to be on a whole new level. But learning from my last mistake, I need to top off my mana first. As time passed, and his mana fully recovered, he continued searching for the boss's location. Is this a goblin tribe? The boss's lair must be in here. Zhang Li looked around and saw the monsters sleeping soundly. They look dead to the world. While they're out cold, I'll sneak in, find the boss, and hit it with a few fireballs to see how it likes it. But halfway there, he accidentally stepped on a rotten branch, making a loud snap. Oh crap. Right away, a nearby goblin startled awake. Zhang Li grabbed the branch, using all his strength to take it down as fast as possible. Hold still. You. But since he wasn't a warrior or an assassin, that strike barely did any damage. Zhang Li forced a smile. Figures. Right then, the goblin went wild, screeching to sound the alarm to its buddies. Hearing the noise, the other goblins woke up and instantly went into hunt mode. Yeah, time to get the hell out of here. Zhang Li screamed as he ran. Stop chasing me! Just stop! I'm sorry, okay? I need to save my mana for the boss. But one of them picked up a rock and hurled it right at the back of Zhang Li's head. The young man spun around, furious. I told you idiots to stop chasing me. You just had to do this the hard way, didn't you? Fine, then just drop dead. He unleashed his lightning skill, shocking the monsters until they were paralyzed, instantly taking out half of their health bar. With a cooldown of only 2 seconds, Zhang Li immediately cast it again, unleashing another shock. How about some more of this? Just like that, they were all lying there, motionless. Zhang Li had taken care of them with ease. Seriously, why did you guys have to mess with me? He mumbled. But I still haven't found the boss. Is it not inside their camp? As he stood there, the ground suddenly started to shake. An earthquake? Why is this happening all of a sudden? He didn't even notice the stone statue behind him starting to glow. He was still trying to figure out what was going on. Meanwhile, a short distance away, 3 figures were wandering through the forest, searching for him. It's this late and he's still out here grinding? Is this kid tired of living or what? If we take this chance to take care of that brat Zhang Li, our dear cousin is going to be thrilled. I wonder what his dad will reward us with. This guy is Yan Quan, the cousin of Yan Shu, and he was absolutely delighted. I wonder what kind of reward we'll get. The blonde guy turned to Yan Quan and asked, Boss, it's so late. Is that Zhang kid really still out here? Yan Quan frowned. What? You don't believe me? The blonde guy waved his hands in a panic. No, how could I ever doubt you, Brother Quan? I just mean it's incredibly dangerous out here at night. If he runs into an elite or a boss, a newly awakened newbie won't stand a chance. As the 3 of them were talking, they suddenly felt the ground tremble. Yan Quan growled with excitement at this reaction. Someone just triggered the boss. Looks like we're about to get a nice little bonus. The boss here is a 3-star Black Iron Goblin Priest. Even classes like us would have a tough time dealing with it. Whoever is fighting the boss right now, let's just let them weaken each other first. Then, we'll jump in and snatch all the loot. The scene shifts back to Zhang Li, who had just realized what was happening. It turned out this was indeed the boss of the Grey Forest. Why does its aura feel weaker than that elite monster from earlier? But when its stats popped up, It was a level 20 goblin priest boss. It started casting an ice skill with its staff. Zhang Li smirked. "Oh, so you're a mage too, huh?" He summoned a fireball in his hand. "But your casting speed is way too slow." He hurled it straight at the goblin. A massive explosion rang out, and a notification popped up in his log. Weak point hit, critical damage dealt. But through the flames, the boss emerged and fired a fast-moving ice orb straight at him. He had already anticipated its counterattack and prepared his shield. I knew it wouldn't be that simple, but he didn't expect just one of its skills to shred half of his shield's durability. A warning flashed. Level 5 ice arrow attack from the goblin priest boss. Zhang Li's jaw dropped. That damage is insane. The goblin was also scorched by his fire, forcing it to use its cloak to shield itself. But as the flames died down, it looked around frantically. Zhang Li was completely gone, leaving the boss standing there all by itself. Right now, Zhongli was hiding behind a tree trunk, desperately trying to recover his mana. The goblin was already losing its patience, spamming its skills and blasting one tree after another to flush out his hiding spot. The young man watched in terror, as the tree right next to him was completely blown to pieces. I definitely hit its weak spot. There is no doubt about it. That cloak it is wearing, it must have fire and magic resistance. I just wiped out the smaller mobs, and now I am forced into a hectic boss fight like this. With my current mana, there is no way I can take it down. While it still has not found me, I need to recover as much mana as I can. Time felt like it was passing at a crawl as the boss kept tearing through the surrounding forest. The nearby woods were being utterly devastated. This time, it aimed directly at Zhongli's hiding spot. From behind, it unleashed a skill that pierced right through the tree trunk, shattering Zhongli's final line of defense. Meanwhile, Zhongli was still highly focused on recovering his mana. Hearing the sound of his defense shattering, his eyes snapped open, glaring straight at the goblin. The creature cackled with sadistic glee now that it had found him. Kaka. Then, it began channeling its energy, preparing to summon a massive ice spell in the sky. Zhongli thought to himself, "This time, I am really dead meat." The young man glanced at his critically low mana bar. "I don't even have enough mana to cast a basic fireball. Now, my only option is to risk it all." Zhongli instantly unleashed his lightning attribute skill at the beast. This time, even more violent bolts of lightning came crashing down. The goblin let out a piercing shriek as its casting was interrupted. Its entire body went numb, and it collapsed to its knees, completely paralyzed. Zhongli smirked. The paralysis effect from a max-level lightning spell could indeed disrupt its casting process. This was his golden opportunity. He rushed toward the boss and yanked off its cloak. A system notification popped up, confirming he had acquired the item. "What a valuable cloak," Zhongli muttered with a sly grin. "Without this, you won't be able to tank my magic anymore, right?" he thought to himself. Steal its counter-equipment first, then execute a hit-and-run strategy. Holding the cloak in his hands, he felt a massive surge of confidence. He was absolutely ready. Now, it's my turn to fight back. Zhongli paralyzed it once more to buy time to run away. A moment later, as the goblin slowly recovered from the paralysis, it began to crawl back up. Without its protective cloak, its body was in excruciating pain. Boiling with pure rage, it unleashed a massive wave of killing intent, searching frantically for Zhongli, but he was nowhere to be found. Finally, it spotted a cloak fluttering right behind a nearby bush. Smirking, the beast began channeling its skill, firing a massive blast straight at the bush next to the tree root. The area exploded into a million pieces, creating a massive blast. But then, a familiar voice echoed from behind. "Where the hell are you looking?" Game over. This time, he finally had enough mana to conjure a fireball. He confidently unleashed a powerful, devastating attack straight at the monster. Desperate, the goblin could only use its skill to throw up a defensive shield. But against Zhongli's max-level skill, that shield shattered in the blink of an eye. The young man successfully struck its weak spot, landing a critical hit that left the boss's health bar hanging by a thread. No matter what defense skills you have, I've got a max-level fireball, which basically means your fire resistance is completely useless. No matter how tough your defense is, you are still taking massive damage. But today, you ran into me. Talk about rotten luck. Clutching his wooden staff, Zhongli stepped toward the beast. This time, the young man was determined to finish it off once and for all. A system notification popped up. "You have leveled up 3 times. Current level is 10. Along with that, a heap of rare equipment dropped. Not bad at all. A magic staff. I might actually be able to use this. Zhongli examined its fire-resistant cloak. The stats showed it was black iron rank, requiring level 5 or above. Note: wearing this cloak increases immunity to fire damage. Current durability, 0. It was completely broken. Zhongli frowned. So that is how it is. It turns out this was just a specialized fire attribute cloak. No wonder it could tank my fireball spell. On top of that, now it is completely wrecked. What a waste. But what is more important is this skill book. Zhongli opened it and read, Learned Ice Arrow. Initial level. Level 5. Current level reached for Ice Arrow. Level 10. Cooldown. 3 seconds. Casting time. 2 seconds. Mana cost. 200 points. Skill description. Inflicts massive damage on a single target, with damage scaling directly with the user's level. A look of pure joy washed over Zhongli's face once again. An ice arrow at level 5 is already this strong. I can't even imagine how insane it will be once it is completely maxed out. Zhongli began inspecting the magic staff the boss was wielding earlier. Goblin's Grudge Staff. Magic penetration plus 10. Bronze rank. Class requirement. Mage, level 7 or above. Warning. Exercise caution. Equipping this staff will make you an enemy to all goblins. Zhongli thought to himself, so it is a bronze rank staff, and it even has a magic penetration effect. No wonder even my max level light armor spell couldn't block a single hit. With this, dealing with monsters with innate magic resistance will be a breeze. But suddenly, a voice cold as ice called out from behind him, Hey, kid, don't you dare move. Put your hands in the air. A blonde-haired guy muttered to Yan Quan, Boss, there is no one else around here. This brat squad has probably been completely wiped out. Pointing his finger directly at Yung Li, a man named Yan Quan sneered, Hey kid, you're Yung Li, right? Just awakening as a class user and immediately taking down a regional boss is pretty impressive. Too bad those teammates you abandoned were probably way stronger than you. Raising both hands in curiosity, Zhongli asked, How do you know my name? The guy started bragging and introduced himself. I am Yan Quan of the Yan family from Gold City. I heard you used to bully my cousin back at school. Do you really think the Yan family has no one backing them up? Yung Li forced a smile, pretending to be terrified while secretly trying to recover his mana. Oh, so you're classmate Yan's cousin. Classmate Yan is our school's genius. How could I ever dare to bully him? It just so happens I have a few small items here. Why don't you guys take a look and see if there's anything you like? Yan Quan sneered with supreme arrogance. Make friends with you? Ha, cut the crap. You want to get close to me? Forget about it. With that, he released a threatening pressure, ready to strike Zhongli. Speak up. You want to keep your arms or your legs? I'll try to go easy on you. Zhongli sighed. Man, we're basically acquaintances. There's really no need to threaten me and get violent the second we meet. Just then, one of the lackeys noticed something strange about Zhongli. Boss, this kid is using meditation to recover his mana, but Yan Quan remained extremely confident. Who cares? So what if his mana is fully restored? All three of us are black iron rank class users. You think we can't handle a rookie, especially just an ordinary mage? Zhongli finally dropped his timid act. Oh, so all three of you are black iron rank class users? That's perfect then. Hearing Zhongli's tone, Yan Quan still stayed calm. You're not planning to risk your life to fight us, are you? Let me tell you, we won't even give you the chance to cast a single spell. But as soon as the words left his mouth, Zhongli quickly used lightning to paralyze the whole group. Standing in front of Yan Quan, Zhongli cracked his knuckles menacingly. They say villains die because they talk too much. I was just waiting for my mana to recover. But what on earth were you guys waiting for? Yan Quan's face twisted with rage. Damn it. How could you cast a spell that fast? Who knows? Zhongli activated a fireball spell in his hand and threw it straight at the group. A moment later, all three of them were stripped stark naked by Zhongli. As expected of black iron rank class users, you guys sure carry a lot of good stuff. Zhongli was absolutely thrilled, stuffing everything into his backpack while thinking to himself, from now on, why should I even bother hunting monsters? Plundering makes way more money, whereas defeating that regional boss only leveled me up 3 times. Looks like tomorrow I'll have to find another place to grind some levels. 3 black iron rank thugs tried to mug a rookie only to have it backfire on them, suffering a humiliation so deep they would rather die than breathe a single word about it if they could go back. As night fell over the small town of Rose, Zheng Li walked while panting under the heavy weight of his loot, thinking to himself, just going out once and bringing back this much stuff is exhausting. If only I had a spatial storage item, that would be amazing. And so, Zheng Li headed over to the Golden Dragon Pavilion. This must be the place. The moment he stepped inside, an eager staff member walked up to greet him. Welcome. How may I help you today? Zheng Li dumped everything out of his bag. I'd like to sell some gear and materials. Seeing the massive pile of items, the employee gave a forced smile and said, Please wait a moment, valued guest. I will go and appraise these for you right away. A little while later, the staff member returned. Dear guest, I have finished the calculations. Based on the market price, it comes to a total of 972,000 Yanlong coins. So, we've rounded it up to exactly 1 million Yanlong coins for you. Zheng Li couldn't believe his ears. 1 million coins. My mom's monthly salary is only 3,000 coins, yet I just made 1 million this easily? This really is the difference between ordinary people and class users. At this rate, it won't be long before I'm living a comfortable life. Zheng Li asked the employee, Do you guys sell basic skill books here? The employee replied, We don't sell them in this hall. Please follow me. Zheng Li followed her upstairs, where a girl was standing. Seeing him, she immediately recognized him as Zheng Li. She was the outstanding genius of the Jingkang Academy, Mo Qingqing. A servant walked up and said to her, My lady, everything is ready. Inside the library of the Golden Dragon Pavilion, Zheng Li got straight to the point. I need some basic mage class skills. Do you have any recommendations? The girl happily pulled out a large stack of various books. These are all skills that a rookie mage can learn. You can choose a few that you like. Among them are Windblade, Ice Arrow, Slow, Earth Spike, and Appraisal. They are all D rank and cost 600,000 Qilong coins. Zheng Li pondered for a moment. He hadn't expected a single book to cost 600,000 coins. It seems my 1 million coins can't be wasted like this. For now, I can only buy a cheaper one to get by. I've already mastered Fireball, Lightning Strike, and Ice Arrow. For now, I'm not lacking in single target and area of effect attacks. As for defense, I also have light armor. Even though my lightning has a paralyzing effect, the duration is just too short. Maybe I should buy a crowd control skill instead. After making up his mind, Zheng Li picks up the slow skill book. I'd like to buy this slow skill book. The book clearly read, Slow, level 10, cooldown, 1 second, cast time, 0.4 seconds, duration, 2 seconds, mana cost, 30 points. Skill description, can slow down the target. The slowing effect depends on the user's level. Zheng Li thinks to himself, I still need to fix my low mana capacity issue. I'll use the rest of my cash to buy some support items. He smiles and asks, Oh, by the way, do you sell mana recovery potions here? The clerk replies, Please wait a moment, sir. Meanwhile, in a VIP lounge nearby, a conversation is taking place. Miss Mo, I've gathered the information. There is indeed a black iron tier hidden dungeon on the Gale Steppe, but the entrance hasn't been located yet. It will take a little more time to find it. Mo Qingqing smiles and says, That's fine. As long as we're sure the entrance is on the Gale Steppe, I'll go look for it myself tomorrow. Thank you, Manager Lin. Manager Lin replies bashfully, It's really nothing at all, miss. Mo Qingqing's thoughts drift back to Zheng Li once more. I heard something went wrong during Zheng Li's awakening ceremony, leaving him as just a basic mage. There is no way he could be here. Did I see things? But she is suddenly pulled out of her thoughts by a voice. Miss, what are you thinking about? Startled, she awkwardly replies, Oh, it's nothing. If you can conquer this hidden dungeon, miss, your ranking will definitely skyrocket. Reaching the black iron tier will be a piece of cake. By the time the exams roll around next week, you'll definitely surpass that rich girl from the Li family. Right, we shouldn't waste any time. Uncle Fu, please call Ma Da and the others. They'll be entering the dungeon with me. Right away, miss. The scene shifts to the Gale Steppe, where a pack of crazed wolves is rushing toward Zheng Li. However, he calmly uses his staff to unleash a lightning skill, paralyzing them. Their health bars only drop by half. Zheng Li thinks, Now that my level is higher, my magic damage has increased significantly. If I were fighting goblins now, a single lightning strike would be enough to take them out instantly. While Zheng Li is lost in thought, a wolf lunges at him from behind. But the moment it gets close, it's blocked by his defensive shield. He sighs, Man, you guys just don't give up, do you? He then begins to kite them, pulling the pack together while waiting for his cooldowns. Once his skill is ready, he spins around and unleashes a lightning spell, but to his surprise, the wolves are so fast that they actually dodge the incoming bolts. Jung Lee is stunned. These Tempest wolves can actually dodge his lightning. In that case, he immediately casts his newly bought skill, Slow Magic, causing the pack's speed to plummet as if they are bound by heavy chains, limiting their movement to a crawl. Using it for the first time, Jung Lee is absolutely blown away. So this is what max-level Slow Magic feels like. The cast time is insanely fast, with absolutely no warning, making it impossible to dodge, but it only targets one enemy at a time. Casting it 3 times in a row is such a luxury. I have to finish these guys off quickly before more Tempest wolves show up. A moment later, Jung Lee has to chug down another mana potion. Now that his level has reached 11, he says happily, "Thank goodness I bought that support item at the Golden Dragon Pavilion last night. My leveling efficiency today is way higher. Now, how do I deal with this elite monster?" He wonders as he spots a massive, ferocious alpha wolf, a level 20 Blood Cloud giant wolf. Jung Lee quickly ducks behind a large boulder, a sharp, cunning look flashing in his eyes. Catching it off guard while the pack's defense is down, he quietly casts his skill. Thunder rumbles, and the wolves are instantly paralyzed. Jung Lee leaps out with a fireball ready in his hand. Now's my chance. I have to take down the leader first. A massive explosion erupts, striking its weak spot for a successful critical hit. The smaller monsters are wiped out instantly, but the Blood Cloud giant wolf manages to survive. Jung Lee locks in. Now, it's a one-on-one showdown. It roars, baring its razor-sharp fangs, and charges straight at Jung Lee. He smirks, "Be a good boy now," and immediately casts his binding skill. Mid-charge, the beast's body abruptly freezes, unable to take a single step closer. Jung Lee slowly walks up to it. I might not know the exact weakness of a Tempest wolf, but one thing is for sure, all that fur means it's terrified of fire. Seeing the fireball crackling in Jung Lee's hand, the wolf begins to panic. Once again, the fireball triggers a devastating explosion. Congratulations, you have successfully struck the weak spot, landing a critical hit. You have leveled up 2 times in a row. Current level, 13. Loot obtained. Black iron gloves, black iron ring. Even though they're just black iron grade gear, at least they're compact. I wonder how much I can sell these for. Jung Lee stuffs them into his backpack, but suddenly, the ground begins to violently tremble, causing his staff resting on the ground to shake. Heart pounding, he looks into the distance, where a massive cloud of dust is slowly rolling in. A giant pack of wolves is charging right at him. Damn it, I've only killed one of them so far. Do these elite monsters seriously need to bring the whole pack just to get revenge on me? Jung Lee quickly grabs another mana potion from his inventory to prepare for the next wave of attacks. But before he could even drink it, the wolf pack is already right in front of his face. He thought he was a goner, but the entire pack completely ignores him and runs right past. Phew, turns out they weren't after me after all. But then he quickly realizes something is off. Wolves are pack animals. The only thing that could gather a pack this massive is the Wolf King. Oh ho. Did someone already trigger the boss area? No way. I can't let anyone else steal my boss. That boss has to be mine. Jung Lee quickly grabs his gear and immediately runs after the wolf pack. Somewhere else, 2 groups are in a fierce battle. One side is completely overwhelmed. Shuer and her 2 teammates are surrounded by a bunch of thugs taking advantage of the chaos to rob them. And you guys dare to call yourselves heroes? But the moment the words leave his mouth, his teammate right next to him is instantly shot straight through the throat by an arrow. We might not be heroes, but if you want to blame someone, blame your own sheer stupidity. Who in their right mind goes boss hunting out in broad daylight completely unprepared like this? If we don't rob you guys, who else are we supposed to rob? The thugs laugh triumphantly. All of your gear belongs to me now, and that Blood Cloud Wolf King is mine too. The leader of Shuer's group immediately begs, "Fine, the gear and the Blood Cloud Wolf King are all yours. Just please let us go." Hearing this, the whole gang bursts out laughing. Of course they are, but I just changed my mind. Hand over that priest girl behind you first. Once I've had some fun with her, I'll let the rest of you go, he says with a sleazy, drooling look on his face, leaving Shuer absolutely terrified. Leader. The cowardly leader says with a pathetic look, "Sure, don't blame me, I just want to survive." With that, he turns around to grab her to use as a scapegoat. "Leader, stay away from me." Shuer screams in tears, repeatedly muttering, "Don't come near me." But suddenly, a bolt of lightning strikes from afar, hitting the bandits right behind them, and leaving the leader frozen in shock for a few seconds. Everyone simultaneously turns their heads to look where the lightning came from. The red-haired leader of the bandits roars in anger. Who dares to ruin my fun? Show yourself. He glares into the cloud of dust where a figure is slowly stepping out. Jung Lee gives a knowing smirk. Robbing people in broad daylight. Don't you guys ever get tired? But while he's speaking, another bandit sneaks up behind him and swings his blade to slash at him. As if he knew it was coming, Jung Lee slightly turns his head and says, "Hey, I wasn't finished talking. Don't interrupt me." With that, he blasts a fireball right into the guy's face. The terrifying explosion scares the living daylights out of the crowd. Shuer's leader takes the opportunity to throw down his sword and run for his life. Upon seeing Jung Lee, Shuer's eyes light up with utter shock and joy. "It's you." The bandit leader's face goes pale as he watches Jung Lee approach, so he had backup, taking down his subordinate in a single hit. This guy is definitely no joke. But no matter how he looks at it, the kid is still just a mage. He screams, ordering the rest of his crew. "All of you, get him. Don't give him a chance to cast a spell." But Jung Lee's eyes don't show even a shred of concern. Why is everyone always like this? As he speaks, another fireball appears in his hand. Spinning around as he unleashes the fireball, the flames instantly blast all of them away at the same time. Are you guys really in that much of a rush to meet your maker? Cold sweat pours down the bandit leader's face, and he's too terrified to even make a sound. No way. It's clearly just a basic mage skill, so how on earth is it this ridiculously strong? He quickly throws his weapon to the ground, surrendering unconditionally. "Sir, this is all just a misunderstanding." He quickly looks at Shuer. "Please, just take her and go." And the Blood Cloud Wolf King is right inside that cave. Jung Lee has heard quite enough. Once you chose to attack me, you had to be ready to face the consequences. Stop standing there whining. With that, Jung Lee aims an ice arrow straight at him. A single shot pierces right through him. Before taking his last breath, he desperately screams with pure hatred, "My Blood Wolf Adventurer Guild will never let you get away with this." And just like that, he drops dead. Jung Lee smirks and walks over to loot all their items. Being able to spam skills back to back like that, it looks like the stat boosts from leveling up are actually pretty solid. Right then, Shuer shyly walks up to him and mumbles, "Thank you for saving me. I had no idea you were this strong. Looking back, I don't even know why I was worrying so much about you." She looks incredibly bashful. Seeing this, Jung Lee gives her a bright smile and replies, "Don't worry about it. You saved my life before, so now we're even. By the way, I'm about to go hunt a boss. Do you want to tag along?" As they walk, Shuer looks up at him and thinks to herself, he just got done fighting those bad guys, and now he wants to take on a boss? He doesn't look that old. Could he have some kind of insanely powerful hidden class? After venturing deeper inside, they spot the level 25 boss, the Blood Cloud Wolf King, fast asleep. Shuer thought to herself, "So this is the Blood Iron Wolf King. I'm only level 20. And I just advanced to the Black Iron rank. Is it really okay with just the two of us?" She looked at Jung Lee with worry, but a fireball had already formed in his hand, and he hurled it straight at the fast-asleep boss. You'll never know unless you try. Right after that, a massive wave of fire erupted. Jung Lee observed the situation and thought, why didn't I get a critical hit? Is this boss's fire resistance really that high? Through the smoke and flames, the Wolf King slowly emerged, its health bar barely even budging. It roared, "Intruders must die." It then lunged straight at Jung Lee. The young man thought to himself, "Wow, I didn't expect it to actually talk. Are all bosses this smart? Although its fire resistance is pretty solid, it seems to have absolutely zero magic resistance." He sidestepped, easily dodging the pounce. "Looks like I can actually take this guy on." Jung Lee immediately cast a slow spell, making its speed drop rapidly, but it still managed to leap off a boulder and charge at him again. Without a second thought, he cast a light armor spell, creating a protective shield around himself. A single swipe from its claws left his shield with barely any durability remaining. Yep, that is definitely a boss-level threat. It almost shattered my shield. How is it still this fast, even after being slowed? Well, time to get serious. Jung Lee immediately unleashed his single-target skill, Frost Arrow. Shuer didn't just stand by watching either. She cast a support spell right under his feet, shouting, "Here is a magic attack buff for you." Jung Lee fired his Frost Arrow, but to his surprise, the boss dodged it with ease. She watched in disappointment as the boss successfully dodged, but everything was actually going according to Jung Lee's plan. Just as I thought, Li immediately forced the straight-flying arrow to bend, making it suddenly veer and strike the boss right in the lower abdomen. The combat log popped up, weakness strike, critical damage. The boss's health bar dropped by double the amount. Li chuckled and said, "I learned this little trick from fighting bosses like you," he thought to himself. So the weakness of wolf-type monsters is indeed their waist and belly. Its health was now down to half. Its body began to shake as it let out a deafening roar, entering an enraged state. Schwer shouted a warning, "Heads up, the boss is going berserk." Suddenly, another pack of wolves emerged from behind, rushing in to protect their king. Li immediately realized what was happening. "I didn't expect this boss to summon minions." Schwer quickly cast another buff, helping Li recover his mana. Seeing the pack charge at him, Li did not hesitate. He welcomed them with a massive fireball. Experience point notifications kept popping up as he wiped them out. He thought to himself, "Ah, I see. This cave is actually quite narrow." Summoning too many minions backfired on him, completely blocking the boss's own movements. Li teased the boss, "Hey, do that summon trick again, and maybe I'll spare your life this time." Hearing his mockery, the boss roared again, summoning even more minions. Li smiled. "Now that is what I like to see." He hurled another fireball at the group. With a massive explosion, the minions were instantly wiped out. Experience points from the wolf pups kept rolling in non-stop. Li received 20 experience points for each wolf. The young man was starting to pant from exhaustion, while his support companion Shure was so sleepy her eyes were practically glued shut, yet she still racked up 10 experience points per kill. Li kept chugging mana potions to recover. The system log flashed. Level up. Level 15. Li tossed the empty potion bottle aside. "All right, let's keep this going," he thought to himself. "Man, if I knew this boss had a summon trick like this, I wouldn't have wasted my time hunting other monsters." By now, the boss was completely drained. It did not have a single drop of energy left. Yet, Li still drew his frost arrow, aiming it right at the beast. "Oh? Out of mana? Well, looks like I have no choice. I guess I'll just have to hold back my tears and squeeze out every last bit of value from you." With that, Li released the frost arrow. The boss never expected that it would be the target this time. "You demon. You are a literal demon." Realizing that Li had squeezed dry every ounce of its energy before finishing it off, the beast was left in absolute despair. Right at that moment, an unexpected notification popped up, making Shure turn around in surprise. Support level increased by 1. Current level, level 2. Li also leveled up, reaching level 16. The young man laughed excitedly. "I managed to gain 3 whole levels here, and scored a ton of gear drops too. This is a total jackpot." Shure looked back, processing the entire battle, and thought, who in their right mind actually exploits a boss's summon skill just to farm experience like this? Seriously, who is the real boss here? Right then, Li called out to her. "Shure, come here for a second." "Me?" She stepped closer. Li handed her a magic staff. "This is your share. For me? But I barely did anything." Li explained. "Didn't you help me recover my mana and boost my magic damage? You are actually an amazing support. If we run into danger down the road, I am definitely going to need your help." Shure took the magic staff, thinking, I guess I really am important to him. After that, they both left the cave. Li pulled up his status window. The boss had dropped 2 skill books. I was too busy earlier to check their attributes. If I remember correctly, they were the Fleetfoot art and the Tidal Swamp art. The Fleetfoot art increases movement speed. No wonder that Wolf King was still able to move even after being hit by my slow spell. And then there is the Tidal Swamp spell. Apparently, this skill can crowd control multiple enemies at the exact same time. I have got to find a chance to test this out. But just as he was lost in thought, Shure called out to him, Li, get over here quick. Look, it is Shadow Orchid Grass. Even though it does not do anything for awakeners, to normal people, it is a top-tier herb that can cure 100 different illnesses. It will definitely fetch a crazy high price. Shure picked it and handed it to Li. We will go 50-50, 1 stalk each, okay? Awesome, thanks a lot. My mom is just an ordinary person, and years of hard work have left her with all sorts of chronic aches and pains. With this, hopefully her health will get a little better. Smiling, he glanced over at a massive boulder and noticed something unusual. Li, look at that. There is a glow coming right out of that stone wall. Without a single second of hesitation, he summoned his fireball. Looks like there is something hidden inside this wall. Stand back a bit. Then, he blasted it wide open. As the dust settled, Zhang Li was absolutely stunned. It was a hidden dungeon. A notification popped up as the two of them stepped closer to investigate. Hidden dungeon discovered. Black iron rank, level 25. Entrance to the altar of darkness. 1 out of 2. Restricted difficulty. Player level requirement. Level 23 or below. Party size, 2 to 6 players. Chewer cautioned. This looks a little too dangerous. Maybe we should head back and prep first. At least we know where the entrance is now. But Zhang Li immediately shut her down. No way. If you think it is too risky, you can head back first. But if you decide to come with me, do not worry. I am right here, and I will keep you safe. Hearing those words, a deep sense of security washed over Chuer. All right, I will do my absolute best. If things get really bad, I will buy you some time. The two of them stepped inside. You have entered the hidden dungeon, Altar of Darkness. Prevent the ritual of Dark Mage Gao. A Dark Mage? That means there is a chance mage gear will drop. Zhang Li's mood instantly soared, and he cheered with excitement. Woohoo! Let us do this! But as they were running, he suddenly spotted something strange and quickly pulled Chuer down into a corner. Get down! Startled by his sudden move, her face filled with fear. What is going on? He whispered. Look over there. There is a level 20 skeletal knight standing guard, Zhang Li murmured. Just as I thought, this dungeon is no joke. Even the regular mobs are level 20. Looks like clearing this place is not going to be a walk in the park. But as the two of them kept their eyes forward, a squad of skeletal knights suddenly ambushed them from behind, roaring, "Intruders! What are you eavesdropping on? Die!" Then, they lunged at him with their deadly claws. Zhang Li thought to himself, luckily, these skeletons are not very smart. They are not all rushing me at once. Otherwise, I would not have had time to react. Time to test out this new skill. Zhang Li slammed both hands onto the ground. Swamp Spell, a D-rank basic skill, creates a swamp with a radius of 100 meters in front of the caster. Enemies stepping into the swamp will become trapped, their movement speed reduced by up to 90%, lasting for 4 to 6 seconds, with an 8-second cooldown. The ground began transforming into a treacherous, sinking swamp, making movement incredibly difficult. The knights rushing toward him were instantly slowed to a crawl. They stumbled and collapsed as the ground gave way beneath their feet, completely throwing them off balance. Zhang Li seized the opening instantly, summoning a fireball and blasting it straight into the group of knights. An instant kill. After clearing out the monsters, the young man thought to himself, so, a max-level swamp spell has this massive of an area of effect? When dealing with crowds, I will not even need to use my single target slow anymore. But just as they were celebrating, a sudden cry for help echoed from the distance. They both spun around. Chuer said, "Is someone fighting the final boss? Looks like other people came to mess with the Dark Mage too." He replied, "Hold on a second. I am going to check it out." Over in that direction, 3 people were completely surrounded by a horde of skeletal knights. "Miss, use your teleportation scroll, fast!" King Cheng cried out in terror. "But we have not even defeated a single monster yet." The armored man yelled, "Do not worry about that. Your safety is all that matters, miss." But before he could even finish his sentence, a skeletal knight lunged, aiming its razor-sharp blade for a lethal thrust. "We are done for. This is the end." But just as the monster closed in, Zhang Li arrived in the nick of time. He stepped forward, raising his hand to cast the light armor spell to form a protective shield, blocking the knight from breaching his defense. When Mo Ching-chung saw Zhang Li, she gasped in recognition. "Zhang. Li?" One of the guards spoke up. "Zhang Li from Jin Academy? I recall he is in the exact same class as you, miss. Didn't he just awaken his power a couple of days ago?" Then he turned and shouted at Zhang Li, "Hey kid, these monsters are not something a mage, a starter class like yours, can handle. We won't be held responsible if you get killed." Zhang Li smirked. "I appreciate the concern, guys, but there is really no need to worry." With that, he unleashed a massive fireball straight at the pack of skeletal knights. The fireball streaks toward them, vaporizing the monsters in a single blow. A barrage of notifications pops up. Plus 40 experience points, plus 40 experience points, plus 40 experience points. After wiping out the mobs, Zhang Li snaps his fingers coolly. And just like that, it is done. Another notification chimes. "Congratulations, you have leveled up, current level, 17. Watching Zhang Li obliterate the monsters in a single blow, Ching Cheng's companions cannot believe their eyes. He took them all out with just one move. She stares in absolute shock, thinking to herself, he is so powerful. The guard standing next to Ching Cheng stammers, that level of power. We could have done that too. Stop worrying about others. Ching Cheng, who already had a good impression of Zhang Li, steps forward to strike up a conversation. Is it really you? I knew I was right about you. Zhang Li turns around and asks, do I know you? But then he suddenly remembers, oh, right, you are Mo Ching Ching, the genius who can match Li Mu Yuan, right? Are you here to grind levels too? This dungeon is pretty tough, so you should be careful. Hearing this, one of the guards instantly snaps. Don't get cocky, kid. We already beat those monsters to a pulp. They were barely hanging on. You just came in and stole the last hit. We are Black Iron rank elites, so we do not need your concern. Zhang Li does not even bother arguing with them. If there is nothing else, I will be on my way. He thinks to himself that if they struggle this much against low-level mobs, they definitely do not have what it takes to compete for the boss. But to his surprise, just as he is about to walk away, Ching Cheng calls out to him. Wait, Zhang Li. You haven't reached Black Iron rank yet, have you? Zhang Li turns back and replies, that is true, but I have already reached level 17. It probably won't take me much longer. Hearing this, her heart skips a beat as she is left completely stunned, thinking, it has only been a few days and he is already level 17? With this kind of terrifying power, how is that even possible? Taking a deep breath, she says, I have a request. Could you carry me through this dungeon? Your payment will be this Black Iron promotion stone. I think you are going to need it. As she holds out the stone, Zhang Li cannot help but stare at a certain spot, his face turning bright red. Is that necklace a storage item? It must be incredibly valuable, right? Seeing Zhang Li staring so intently without blinking, she blushes even harder. She turns her face away in embarrassment, covering her chest with her hands. See, could you please stop staring like that? To promote to Black Iron rank, you either have to pass the Black Iron trial or use a promotion stone. These promotion stones are extremely rare and cost an absolute fortune. At first, Zhang Li did not plan on using one, but at his current leveling speed, he will reach level 20 before even clearing this dungeon. If he does not promote to Black Iron rank, his level will be capped. All that extra experience would go completely to waste. So, Zhang Li immediately agrees. Deal, but first, you need to tell them to leave. I do not want a bunch of people tagging along just to leech experience. The guard snaps angrily. What did you just say? Don't get too ahead of yourself. The woman with them chimes in as well. My lady, we cannot let you go with this guy. In reality, they are thinking, if word gets out, how are we going to keep our jobs as bodyguards? Ching Cheng snaps back. Going with you guys is incredibly boring. Back off, that is an order. But the guard refuses to back down, stepping closer to Zhang Li. If my lady is going to be this stubborn, then at least let us test this kid's strength first. With that, he points his sword at Zhang Li and launches an attack. Let us see what you have got, Zhang Li smirks. Well, if you want to test me that badly, I will not hold back. Zhang Li conjures a fireball in his hand. My fireball is a little on the larger side. Just try to bear with it for a moment. The armored guard freezes in absolute shock. Is he really just a low-level mage? How could he summon a fireball of this size? The massive ball of fire continues to swell, threatening to engulf the entire area. Tears and snot stream down the guard's face. I am dead. I am so dead. This is really the end of me. But just as the fireball is about to hit him in the face, Zhang Li makes it vanish. Never mind. Let us stop here. If you still want to follow me, I will not stop you. Knowing when to fold, the guards quickly change their tune. Haha, brother Zhang Li, you actually have some serious skills. Even if you are a little weaker than us, clearing a dungeon like this should be a walk in the park for you. Thinking about Zhang Li, they think to themselves how lucky they are that he did not actually unleash that attack. Otherwise, their worthless lives would have been ended right then and there. Both of them immediately bow to bid the lady farewell. We will take our leave now. Please take care, my lady. With that, Zhang Li turns around to look for Shuer. Shuer runs up and clings tightly to his arm, saying, Zhang Li, I have been waiting for you for so long. Next time, can you bring me along with you? I was so scared. Zhang Li sighs. I am absolutely exhausted. Seeing how intimate Shuer is with him, a strange, indescribable sadness suddenly wells up inside Ching Cheng's heart. What's the deal with those two anyway? I've never heard of Zhang Li having a girlfriend. She turned around to strike up a conversation, but got a little tongue-tied, not knowing how to address her. "I'm Mo Ching, his classmate." Shuer scratched her head and replied, "Oh, just call me Shuer." Ching thought to herself. They seem pretty close. But she was still determined to squeeze her way between them. "Oh right, Zheng Li. I wanted to ask you something. I heard your awakening ceremony didn't go very smoothly, right?" Yung Li replied, "Yeah, I'm just a regular mage, but it's not like you need some special class just to get strong." With that, he turned around and smiled. "I've got my own way of doing things." A moment later, Zheng Li used his swift lightness technique to move at lightning speed, dodging explosions left and right while tearing through the monsters. His experience points kept ticking up by 40. A notification chimed, announcing that one of his skills had leveled up. Current level, 18. Meanwhile, the two girls were hiding behind some bushes, whispering to each other. "Has he always been like this?" "Yeah, at first it scared me half to death too." Ching thought to herself. It looks like the skills Zheng Li is using are just basic level, but why on earth is their power so terrifying? After clearing out the minor monsters, a level 27 boss, the Skeleton Knight Commander, finally emerged. Yung Li stared at it as if he was looking at a walking pile of experience points. "Oh, so this dungeon actually has another boss." Right after that, the young man conjured up a mudball spell. The ground beneath the boss's feet suddenly sank deep, turning into a muddy swamp. "It doesn't matter how many of you guys there are. As long as I keep these bony minions locked down with my crowd control skills, you guys won't stand a chance against me." But out of nowhere, the boss suddenly threw its head back, unleashing a surge of black smoke that condensed into a spectral horse, charging straight at Zheng Li. Yung Li noticed a sudden, eerie shift in its eyes. Before he could react, he took a direct hit and was sent flying straight into the bushes. The two girls gasped, screaming in absolute panic. "Zheng Li!" With the crowd control wearing off, the monsters scrambled back to their feet and began to advance once again. "We are totally dead meat." Just then, Shuer urgently nudged Ching. "You go save Zheng Li. I'll distract them." Seeing how brave and decisive Shuer was, Ching thought to herself, she's clearly terrified out of her mind, and yet, but suddenly, a voice called out from where Zheng Li had fallen. "No need for that." Right on cue, an ice arrow shot through the air, embedding itself deep into the boss's skull. Seeing him get back on his feet, Ching rushed over and asked, "Yung Li, are you okay?" Yung Li thought to himself, "Thank goodness my lightness technique was still active. Otherwise, there's no way I would have gotten away with just a few scratches. I really didn't expect that monster to have a ranged attack in its arsenal." Shuer ran over and cast her healing magic. "Let me patch those wounds up for you." Seeing the skeleton knights charging at them once again, Ching immediately unleashed her radiant holy blessing. Blessing allies, shrouding enemies in darkness. Double the damage. A pillar of divine light descended from the heavens, striking the skeleton knights dead on. Seizing the opportunity, Yung Li prepared to cast his area of effect spell. Got it. Following her lead, he unleashed a lightning skill, firing a massive sphere of crackling electricity right at the boss and its minions, instantly paralyzing them. This time, even Zheng Li was stunned by just how massive the damage output was. Shuer covered her mouth in sheer disbelief. "This is the Holy Light's blessing." She then explained to Zheng Li that this blessing imbues nearby allies' attacks with holy damage, while also leaving enemies vulnerable and temporarily blinded. When that happens, any damage dealt by teammates is instantly multiplied. But being able to use a skill like this proved that Mo's class was a top-tier support that buffs damage, inflicts debuffs, and blinds targets. Oh my god, talk about overpowered. Ching's class was actually a rare, special type called the Divine Priest. After taking Yung Li's devastating blast, the boss finally broke free from its paralysis. Its body was still shaking as it slowly struggled back up. This time, he took the initiative and called out to the two girls. Ching, hit me with that blessing again. Got it. And sure, support me from the back, so I can boost my magic damage. Watch out, it's charging right at us. The boss lunged forward with terrifying speed, practically flying towards Zheng Li as it raised its massive mace to strike. But right at that split second, Ching activated her skill. In your dreams, monster. Another beam of holy light burst from the sky, hitting the boss with a heavy, crushing pressure. It forced its eyes open, but the trio had vanished without a trace. Stop wasting your time looking. Zheng Li's familiar voice echoed from right behind it. I'm right here. With that, he activated his skill, channeling raw energy into his leg before delivering a devastating kick right through the skeleton's ribcage, leaving a massive, gaping hole. Jung Lee stuck a confident landing after finishing off his opponent, saying, "And that's that." A system notification flashed. "You have leveled up twice. Current level, 20. Congratulations. You have received a C- rank skill book. Bone Spear. Description: fires a piercing spear made of solid bone. Any part of the target hit by the spear will be weakened and turned into a temporary weak point. If the target area is already a weak spot, the damage amplification effect will trigger successfully." Meanwhile, with Jung Lee, is it really just a C-rank skill? What a waste. My skill bar is already completely full. I need to figure out which move to replace. Shui is already at level 22, and Fanthun is currently at level 29. Jung Lee mumbled to himself, "Only an iron rank mage can learn these skills. Right now, I can only rack my brain." While the young man was lost in thought, then walked over and asked, "Is something wrong, Jung Lee?" She then pulled out a gem and handed it to him. "Here, take this and use it. Think of it as a down payment. If you get stronger, clearing dungeons will be way easier for us. Plus, you do not want to waste the experience points you will get later, right?" Blushing shyly, she added, "Also, from now on, you can just call me Tenthan." Without overthinking, Jung Lee grabbed her hand. "All right, I owe you one this time. In the future, I will definitely repay you 10 times over." Feeling his warm hand holding hers, her heart suddenly raced, and a warm rush swept through her entire body. Meanwhile, outside the dungeon, "What? You dared to leave the young lady alone inside the dungeon?" At the entrance of the Tempest Plains dungeon, a furious voice boomed, "Do you have mush for brains?" A subordinate bowed and reported, "Even though Jung Lee is just a rookie, he seems incredibly strong. There probably will not be any issues, sir." "A rookie? What the hell are you talking about?" "Uncle Fu, look, something is wrong." Uncle Fu finally looked up, his eyes filled with sheer terror, as a series of system notifications flashed continuously. An unknown error has occurred in the Iron Rank dungeon, Dark Temple. The difficulty has been upgraded to Abyss Rank. Warning: forced exit from the dungeon is currently unavailable. Terrified, Uncle Fu immediately ordered, "The young lady is in danger. Quickly gather all family elites level 25 and below. Follow me to rescue her." The muscular man behind him sprang into action immediately. The scene shifted. Inside the dungeon, the group felt a massive tremor, completely unaware of what had happened. While Jung Lee was using a focus stone to break through his limits, a giant foot suddenly stepped forward. "So, you are the intruders, huh? Taking down my minions is quite impressive, but unfortunately, all of you will die right here." A status screen popped up. Level 30 boss, Dark Mage Garu. Seeing this, Than's face turned pale. The dungeon boss had actively hunted down the intruders. She glanced back at Jung Lee. Jung Lee is still breaking through. If I force him to stop, his body might explode and kill him. I need to find a way to buy some time. Right at that moment, Uncle Fu appeared, shouting, "Lady, we are here." Hearing the familiar voice, she smiled with relief. "Uncle Fu." Immediately, a group of people began to surround the boss. "Reinforcements? You people are such a pain." The boss began charging up energy to unleash a skill. Stone spikes, sharp spikes, erupted from the ground over a wide area, catching those unprepared off guard and dealing massive damage. One of the men sneered confidently, "You are high level, but is that all you have got?" Suddenly, the silhouette of a gigantic boss dropped from the sky, brushing past the man. "What?" With its immense weight, it shook the ground violently, collapsing it into a deep crater. A system notification appeared. Unknown level demon. Lord Boss. Javi. The boss roared, "Who summoned me?" The group descended into utter panic at the sight. An abyss demon. Dark Mage Garu, the boss, spoke respectfully to the demon lord. "O great demon lord, it was this humble one who summoned you. These intruders are the sacrifices I offer to you, my lord. Is that all? These weaklings are barely a snack for me." The crowd stared, their bodies freezing from the sheer terror it radiated. "We are doomed. This is really it. We are definitely going to die here." In that moment of absolute despair, Jung Lee reappeared and asked bluntly, "Who wants to be a sacrifice anyway?" By now, Jung Lee had successfully leveled up. Having advanced to the Iron Rank, he received a +1 cast effect, allowing him to unleash 2 skills at the same time. Jung Lee firmly declared to everyone, "Do not despair. Do not let fear paralyze you and stop you from fighting back. He then began charging his attack. A smirk appeared on his face as his bone spear skill materialized. Let us see who will have the last laugh. Seeing Zheng Li's confidence, Uncle Fu thought to himself, bone spear? But that is an abyss demon. What can a lone iron rank mage possibly do? Just like that, the energy surges from Zheng Li's bone spear shot directly toward the demon. It instinctively raised its hand to block, but the skill still managed to wound it. You must have a death wish, it roared in pure rage. Witnessing this, Uncle Fu was completely shocked and stunned. That bone spear skill actually managed to hurt it? Just who on earth is this kid? But I am afraid it is still not enough. It looks like this old man is going to have to risk his life today. Uncle Fu bravely stepped forward and ordered the others. Everyone, charge. I swear, even if I have to sacrifice my life, we must ensure the young law. For the safety of the lady, the mages chanted fireball spells in unison, bombarding the boss from all directions. Right then, he turned to Zhang Li and said, "Young man, get our lady out of here to safety. We're entrusting her to you." With that, his fighting spirit blazing, he charged straight at the boss. The arrogant Demon King sneered. Pathetic ants. He then charged up an attack in his mouth, aiming it right at the group. A massive blast of energy surged directly toward them. At that exact moment, he assumed a defensive stance, raising his sword to block the boss's incoming attack. Fortunately, he managed to block the blow, but exhaustion was clearly starting to take a toll on his body. At this point, he had no choice but to risk it all. Damn demons. He charged fiercely at the boss. This was his ultimate move. Even if he couldn't defeat the demon Do, he had to at least buy some time for the lady. Leaping high into the air, he unleashed his judgment slash. But as soon as he landed, the boss effortlessly caught the blade with 2 fingers and grabbed him with his other hand. Oh, Uncle Feng. Is this really all the strength you have? With that, he slammed him violently onto the ground. Watching from afar, Thon couldn't help but sob in terror, tears streaming down her face. Uncle Feng, she cried, but Zhang Li quickly held her back. The demon stepped closer, raising his foot to crush him. He growled, "What a bunch of fools who don't know their place." In that life or death moment, the old man still gathered the last of his strength to protect his lady. "Lady, run, get out of here." Suddenly, an ice arrow shot by Zhang Li zipped through the air, piercing straight through the demon's wing, catching him completely off guard. Seizing the golden opportunity Zhang Li had created, he swung his sword, slashing the demon's leg and sending him tumbling backward. Thanks to that, he managed to escape in the nick of time. Furious at being blindsided, the Demon King roared, "Who dares?" Aiming another arrow at him, Zhang Li warned, "Uncle, leave this boss to me. Go tend to your wounds." With a battered and bloody face, he looked at Zhang Li with deep concern. "Young man, didn't I tell you to take the lady and get out of here? Why are you still here? Let us handle this." But Zhang Li refused. "No need. I've already found a way to hurt him." Hearing this, Thon thought to herself, "He's clearly only at Black Iron rank. How can he use 2 different types of magic at the same time? Is he combining 2 skills to create a completely new effect?" Slowly rising to his feet, the Demon King roared, "I will never forgive you." He lunged straight at Zhang Li, slamming his claws into the ground, but Zhang Li had already anticipated the move and dodged just in time. Sidestepping, he leaped into the air and fired an ice arrow right into the back of the demon's neck, taunting him, "Wings are the fatal weakness of you demons, aren't they? Am I right? Losing your wings means losing your mana. Now, you can't use magic anymore." The demon was utterly shocked. How could this guy move so fast? He glared at Zhang Li and demanded, "How do you know that?" Zhang Li explained, "Abyss demons are humanity's greatest enemy. To prevent your race from stepping into our world and destroying it, the Academy has taught us countless ways to deal with you. Now, it's time for you to pay for your sins." Zhang Li thought to himself, "A demon's heart is in a completely random location. Even though I've sealed his mana, I'll have to rely on luck now." Guru, the Dark Mage, screamed at Zhang Li, "Don't get too arrogant. This minor scratch is nothing to our master. Besides, his regeneration ability is terrifying. He will return to normal in the blink of an eye." Hearing this, the Demon King turned his gaze to the Dark Mage. "I cannot wait any longer." He grabbed the mage in his hand. Sensing his impending doom, the mage immediately wailed and begged, "Master, please spare my life." However, what happened next left everyone wide-eyed in horror. The demon opened his massive maw and swallowed the Dark Mage whole. Instantly, His body surged with an intense life force and began to mutate. The wings that had just been destroyed started to regenerate. "You human, you have truly angered me," he roared. A notification popped up. Demon King Phase 2, extremely dangerous. A surge of dark energy shot straight at Zhang Li. But with his speed, Zhang Li easily dodged it, thinking about his movement technique. "My max-level footwork can keep me from getting hit. But like this, there's no way to counterattack. Even if I use my light armor technique now, I won't be able to block this." But as he was calculating his options, Zhang Li suddenly received a notification. "You have received the Strength Blessing effect. Magic attack increased by 100%. Received fortification effect. Magic attack increased by 200%. It turned out that everyone had joined forces, piling all of their buffs onto Zhang Li. Thanks to the Life Blessing effect, his mana was rapidly recovering. Seeing the glowing aura around Zhang Li, the boss immediately turned his head toward him. His mana was gradually restoring. Seeing the glowing aura around Zhang Li, the boss immediately turned his head toward the group supporting him. Right after that, it spun around, channeling a skill in its palm, and a wall of obstacles instantly materialized. Seeing this, Zhang Li started panicking. "This is bad." He quickly doubled back to protect the group just as the boss's energy sphere came hurtling toward them. Zhang Li activated a 300% speed boost, rushing backward to shield the team. A notification screen popped up. Defense power increased by 200%. Shield skills boosted by 200%. Without a second thought, Zhang Li cast light armor magic right as the sphere closed in. A massive explosion ripped through the air, shaking the entire area. But the boss quickly sensed something was off. Its body was slowly sinking into a swampy pit. It struggled to lift its feet to escape, but a voice echoed from behind the protective shield, saying, "Stay right there." A status notification flashed for the boss. "Paralyzed, movement restricted." What kind of bizarre skill is this? Zhang Li smirked and replied, "Next, I'm going to let you taste something even more devastating." With that, he summoned lightning bolts directly into the muddy pit, completely pinning its legs down. This was a deadly combination, the lightning swamp combo, merging lightning magic with mud swamp magic. Now, the boss was fully paralyzed and could not move a muscle. Zhang Li quickly shouted to his team, "Anyone with support items, cast your buffs now. Everyone, we need to back him up. Right now, he is the only one. The only one who can save us." Instantly, a barrage of notifications flooded in. Thanks to the blessing spells, his magic attack power surged by 600%, then 700%, and finally skyrocketed to a mind-blowing 100,000%. The boss began gathering a massive energy sphere in its mouth, roaring, "You actually dare to attack me first? How foolish." It unleashed the blast straight at Zhang Li, but he fired his own skill right back at it. The two massive forces clashed violently. Zhang Li's attack proved far superior, slicing the opposing blast clean in half as it kept charging straight for the boss. The boss threw its arms up to block, but out of nowhere, Zhang Li's attack split into countless tiny shards, raining down from every direction. It frantically swatted them away as Zhang Li called out in a mocking tone, "You really seem obsessed with protecting your head. Is there something valuable up there?" The boss snarled in a rage, "So what if you figured it out?" But at that exact moment, Zhang Li's bone shards began to crack, sparking intensely before detonating right in its face. This was his exploding bone spear, a fusion of bone spear and fireball magic. Seizing the perfect opening, Zhang Li immediately followed up with an ice attribute skill, shouting, "Now is the time." Frost arrows pierced through the thick cloud of smoke as the boss shrieked in agonizing pain. The onlookers held their breath, waiting to see what happened. It was over. But as the smoke cleared, those fierce, menacing eyes glared back at them once more. "Oh, what a shame, what a pity." It stepped forward, brushing off a few ice shards stuck to its hands, sneering, "Was that your one and only shot at beating me? Wait, you still haven't recovered. What did you do to me?" Zhang Li let out a sly grin. "Just a simple stalling tactic." The boss roared in absolute fury, "You filthy insect. You think these cheap tricks can stop me?" Zhang Li smirked, replying, "Oh, you didn't actually think. I only shot a few arrows, did you?" Suddenly, a torrential storm of arrows materialized right behind the boss, skewering its body. How is this even possible? And just like that, its body began to disintegrate, unable to regenerate ever again. Zhang Li waved his hand in victory, saying, "And that is a wrap." A notification screen popped up. Level increased by 5. Current level, 25. The crowd erupted in cheers. That was amazing. It is finally over. The rest of the party members also leveled up by 2. Old Fua stared in awe, thinking to himself, this kid has already reached such a ridiculous level of power. In the future, he is definitely going to become a powerhouse who will shake the entire world. I have to do everything I can to stay on his good side starting right now. Meanwhile, a thought flashed through Zhang Li's mind. Normally, mages at the Black Iron tier cannot cast 2 types of magic simultaneously. Could it be that because all of my skills are maxed out, I awakened some kind of special ability? Just then, the 2 bodyguards who had been protecting the young lady tried to play it cool in front of Zhang Li. If I had that many buffs stacked on me, and well, if I wasn't already injured, I probably could have taken that monster down solo too. The other bodyguard immediately chimed in, echoing, totally. Ching walked over to Zhang Li, her face lighting up with a warm smile. Don't pay any attention to their bragging. She continued, looking at him with deep admiration. We were seriously so lucky to have you with us this time, Zhang Li. Zhang Li looked over at Shuer and Qing, asking, by the way, Shuer, now that we have cleared this dungeon, what are your plans? Shuer replied with a determined look. I feel like my skills are still lacking, and I do not want to end up dragging you down. I think I will head over to some lower level zones to train first. Once I get stronger, we can raid dungeons together again, okay? Qing shyly looked at Zhang Li, whispering, next time, I still want to party up and clear some dungeons together again. She blushed deeply and added, next time, I really hope I can team up with you again, Zhang Li. While a massive question mark pops up on young Li's face, Uncle Fu steps in to explain that his lady actually wants to invite him over to her place. Zhang Li scratches his head in embarrassment. Well, since you put it that way, I'll definitely drop by. Right then, everyone gathers around the gear that dropped from the dungeon. Uncle Fu excitedly spreads his arms, shouting, come on, let's check out our loot. You defeated that demon all by yourself, so all of this loot belongs to you. Zhang Li's eyes quickly land on a silver-grade shadow staff, which requires level 25 or higher, and a gold-grade demon cloak that comes with the Demon Eye skill, which can detect any stealth targets below silver rank and requires level 25 or higher. Zhang Li picks it up, clicking his tongue in awe. He'd have a hard time finding gear like this anywhere else in Gold City. With this gear, I won't have to worry about getting ambushed anymore. Next is the Abyss Pass. Floor 1, a special grade item. Its attribute is used to enter the first floor of the Abyss, requiring a minimum strength of silver rank. Next is an Abyss Stone. A gold grade item. Its attribute allows it to be socketed into gear to grant it the power of the Abyss. It has a high chance of upgrading gear of silver grade or below to gold grade. Watching from a distance, Uncle Fu looks on in awe. A socketing gem. This really is an incredible find. Normal gems can only turn stone to gold, transforming trash into treasure, but this gem can directly upgrade gear to gold rank. It truly is a top-tier masterpiece. Now we just need to find a skilled blacksmith back on Blue Star. Aside from combat-focused classes, there are also many specialized life skill classes, like chefs, pharmacists, and blacksmiths. Although they can't directly fight monsters, they are an indispensable support force for humanity. Uncle Fu tells Zhang Li, I heard Manager Lin of the Golden Dragon Pavilion knows the best blacksmith in all of Gold City. You can go there and try your luck. Zhang Li replies, thank you for the guidance, senior. I was actually planning on paying a visit to the Golden Dragon Pavilion myself. Afterward, Zhang Li packs up his things and prepares to leave. Well then, see you guys later. The scene shifts to the Golden Dragon Pavilion in Rosetown. Zhang Li looks around the room. Is this the VIP room of the Golden Dragon Pavilion? I wonder how much all these decorations are worth. Right after that, a man approaches and introduces himself from a distance. Welcome, honored guest. I am Lin. Please forgive me for not coming out to greet you sooner. Zhang Li, sitting comfortably on the sofa, slowly replies, Manager Lin, you're being far too polite. I'm actually here to sell some gear today. After appraising the items for a moment, Manager Lin concludes, as for these 6 pieces of bronze-grade gear, the 3 pieces under level 20, and the black iron items, I can offer you a bundle price. As for this Shadow Stealth skill book and this silver-grade Gale bow, to be honest, I can't put a price on them right away. It would be best to trade them for other items. The receptionist looks at the pile of gear, absolutely speechless with shock. This is the first time she has ever witnessed such a massive transaction. Zhang Li says, thank you, Manager Lin. In that case, please list the items I can trade for. If there are any skill books or gear suitable for a mage, let's trade those for these 2 items. Oh right, I also need a bronze grade upgrade stone, just deduct the cost directly from my total earnings. Of course, please wait just a moment. He then gestures to the receptionist to go handle the paperwork. Afterward, he and Jung Lee sit down to chat. Manager Lin says to Jung Lee, "I still don't know how I should address you, sir." Jung Lee replies, "You can just call me Jung Lee." The manager takes a sip of his tea and laughs out loud. Haha, I see. Reaching this level in just 2 days after awakening, this is truly unheard of in Gold City. Jung Lee is a bit surprised that he knows about it. How did you know that? Manager Lin replies, "The internal intelligence network of the Golden Dragon Pavilion is quite thorough. As long as you have enough money, you can get any information you want." Jung Lee asks seriously, "In that case, Manager Lin, could you help me find a blacksmith? I have a socketing gem here that needs to be infused into some gear." Manager Lin replies, "Oh, as it happens, I do know of a master craftsman." Just then, the receptionist walks over and hands Jung Lee a booklet. "Apologies for the interruption, sir. This is our item exchange list for your reference. Since the value of your transaction today has met our membership criteria, the Golden Dragon Pavilion would like to present you with a Golden Dragon card. From now on, you will receive a 10% discount on all your purchases at our pavilion. And here is the bronze grade upgrade stone you requested, with the discount already applied." Before she can even finish her sentence, Manager Lin slams his hand down on the table, saying, "I will let you have this stone for 16 million. Consider it a gift to mark our new friendship." Hearing this, Jung Lee breaks out in a cold sweat. He took the item and thought to himself, "If I remember correctly, the market price for a bronze grade upgrade stone is easily $20 million. To the old me, that was a luxury I could never even dream of. Even now, with my Golden Dragon discount card, it still costs 18 million. But just a single word from Manager Lin saved me another 2 million. Looks like I really should build a good relationship with him." Right after that, Jung Lee laughed heartily and said excitedly, "Haha, well then, thanks a lot, Lin. From now on, if this little brother of yours ever needs a hand, you'll definitely be the first person I hit up." Manager Lin burst into a hearty laugh. "I'd love that. By the way, speaking of the gold grade blacksmith master of Kim Thon, Master Wang Yun, he actually happens to be around this area lately. You can find him at the Wen Xiang Garden to the east. Just tell him I sent you." Jung Lee stood up to shake his hand. "Thanks a million, Lin. As for the information fee, just charge me the usual rate." The next day, Jung Lee was already standing in front of the entrance to Wen Xiang Garden. The guards shouted at him, "The master has given his orders. No one is allowed inside." Jung Lee pulled out the stone and said, "I have a piece of gear and want to ask Master Wang Yun to help me socket a gemstone into it. Manager Lin from the Golden Dragon Pavilion recommended me. Please let him know." The people inside overheard his words and immediately went to pass the message. Jung Lee stepped inside. Master Wang Yun looked at him and asked, "So, you're Jung Lee? Haha, I didn't expect that sly old fox Lin to send someone my way." Jung Lee showed him the utmost respect. "I've heard that Master Wang is the best blacksmith in Kim Thon. Meeting you today, I can see your reputation is well deserved." Master Wang Yun scratched his head and said, all right, enough with the flattery. What kind of gemstone do you want to socket?" He took the stone Jung Lee handed him. "Whoa, a dark gold-grade stone, kid? Even gold-grade blacksmiths rarely get to touch gold-grade gear and items. You're not half bad, are you? But the failure rate of direct socketing is extremely high. You've got to be mentally prepared for it to fail." He then continued, "How about we make a deal? I have a masterpiece that's almost finished, but it's missing one highly critical material, and that's the tooth of a lightning crocodile leader. Not only will that material help me complete my work, but it'll also boost the success rate of socketing your stone." Jung Lee looked puzzled. "So, you want me to find that material, Elder?" The old man shook his head. "Not exactly. That lightning crocodile leader is incredibly cunning. It hides deep in the thunder swamp. But if it runs into high-level awakened ones above dark iron grade, it won't be able to escape. If you can't find it, I won't force you." Jung Lee's eyes flickered. "Boost the success rate? Well, in that case, of course I want to give it a shot. I'll head out right now, Elder. Wish me luck and wait for my good news." While Jung Lee was on his way, a group of people suddenly blocked his path and asked, "Hey kid, have you seen a young guy around 25, about 1.8 meters tall, with triangle eyes, and a warrior class awakener around here?" Jung Lee recalled the guy he had killed earlier. Were they talking about him? But Jung Lee denied it. Haven't seen him, he said and tried to keep walking, but the guy blocked him again. Hold on, the person I just mentioned was killed. The clues clearly point to a mage as the killer. You're a mage, aren't you? If you dare hide anything, the Blood Wolf Mercenary Guild will show you the true meaning of cruelty. Zheng Li looked up. I said I haven't seen him. Then he just walked right past them. This made the guy furious. Arrogant brat. Someone needs to teach him a lesson. As Zheng Li walked past, he overheard two people whispering. That guy just now was Chen Dong, the vice captain of the Blood Wolf Mercenary Guild. I heard their guild leader's youngest son was murdered. His body was horribly mutilated. The Blood Wolf Mercenary Guild has always been arrogant and overbearing. I swear, karma is going to catch up with them sooner or later. The other person gasped in panic and quickly covered his mouth. Shh, are you trying to get killed? Their captain is an elite bronze grade expert. You know, there are quite a few bronze grade experts in their mercenary guild, so if they overhear you, you're dead meat. Overhearing the entire conversation, Zheng Li realized he had just stirred up a hornet's nest. Once inside the thunder swamp, Zheng Li showed no mercy. He unleashed his skill, aiming a fireball in that direction. He fired rapidly without stopping, wiping out every single monster in the immediate area. Zheng Li clicked his tongue. Indeed, a dark iron grade spell had such a massive area of effect. Its clear speed was way faster than a regular lightning spell. But suddenly, Zheng Li sensed a rustling sound in the bushes behind him. Was someone tailing him? Zheng Li activated his demon eye to expose the hidden figures. Just as he suspected, there were assassins here. Let's see what kind of scheme you guys are plotting. Right as he was thinking, the lake water below began to churn violently, and a level 29 green-patterned Serpent King emerged. Zheng Li looked at it with disappointment. Wait, isn't this supposed to be the lightning crocodile? Looks like finding them won't be easy, huh? Without a second thought, the Serpent King immediately opened its bloody maw, ready to swallow Zheng Li whole. But Zheng Li easily dodged its deadly strike. At that moment, the hidden assassins began drawing their weapons. Zheng Li was done playing games. He glared directly at the spot where the assassins were hiding and said, "Stop hiding. Show yourselves." Realizing they'd been spotted, the assassins finally stepped out of the shadows. "We finally found you, you little brat. Oh, look at that, an elite monster too. Talk about killing two birds with one stone. You dared to harm our guild leader's son. That is absolutely unforgivable." Zheng Li turned to the leader and asked, "Trandong, do you even have any proof?" Trandong just glared back with a cocky, challenging smirk. "Who says I need proof when you dared to cross me? If I say you did it, then you did." Meanwhile, Zheng Li silently began channeling ice arrows. Talk about perfect timing. The giant serpent behind him was waiting for the perfect moment to strike, preparing to launch a deadly sneak attack from behind. But Zheng Li immediately fired his ice arrows, taking down the serpent in the blink of an eye. Just like that, the giant snake dissolved into thin air right before their eyes. The terrified assassins began whispering in panic. What the hell just happened? He had just taken down a level 29 elite monster in an instant. That was when Zheng Li finally spoke up. "You guys are actually right. I was the one who took him out. But unfortunately for you, I am afraid you will be taking that secret to your graves." With that, Zheng Li conjured a massive fireball in his palm and hurled it straight at them without a single shred of hesitation. Thanks to his massive health pool, Trandong barely survived. Scrambling to run away in utter panic, he thought, "Oh no, this is bad. At this rate, I am dead meat." He quickly fell to his knees and begged, "Please, boss, forgive us. We were completely blind and did not recognize a master like you. We will give you everything we have. All this gear can be sold for a ton of cash. Please, just spare our lives and let us go." But while he put on a submissive act, he was secretly screaming inside. Damn it! How the hell is this kid so freakishly strong? He just admitted he was the one who killed the young master. I have to get back and report this to the guild leader right away. But Zheng Li's murderous aura only grew heavier. "Oh, is that so? Then where exactly did you guys steal all this gear from?" Terrified of saying the wrong thing, Trandong answered immediately. "We stole it from a silver rank couple we ran into earlier. Their family promised us a massive reward if we brought them back, but the husband kept resisting, so we had to put him down. This bronze rank uniform I am wearing actually belonged to him. As for his wife, even though she was carrying a baby, she was a real beauty. It is a shame she chose death over submission though. So, we sent her to join her husband." Hearing those words, Zheng Li's expression darkened with pure rage, though he tried his best to hold back his fury. He thought to himself, "Just as I thought, you monsters all deserve to die." Meanwhile, over at the Golden Dragon Pavilion, Manager Lum answered his phone. Always a pleasure to serve you. Instantly, Jiang Li's face appeared on the screen. Manager Lum, it is me. Ah, young Master Jiang, what an honor. Is the gem slotting still on track? Yes, of course. Jiang Li hesitated for a moment before continuing. Great, but actually, I am calling about something else this time. Manager Lum, can you help me dig up some info on the Blood Wolf mercenary group? I will pay the usual fee, and I need it as soon as possible. Hearing this, Manager Lum paused in surprise. Wait, what did you say? The Blood Wolf mercenary group? Understood. All right, give me just a moment. I will have my people look into them right away. As he spoke, he nervously wiped the sweat from his forehead. Young Master Jiang, look, whatever issue you have with those mercenaries, you must not act impulsively. Knowing he couldn't hide it, Jiang Li decided to tell him the truth. Actually, they ambushed me not too long ago. Luckily, I was strong enough to handle it, so they have been dealt with. I heard the guy leading them was Tran Dong. Manager Lum gasped. I know a bit about him. He is the vice leader of the Blood Wolf mercenary group. If I remember correctly, he is a bronze rank awakened. I cannot believe you actually defeated him, but they are definitely not going to let this slide. What is your next move? Jiang Li calmly replied. I heard that the strongest of them has not even reached the peak of bronze rank yet. So, I am pretty confident I can handle it. I am only worried this might bring trouble to your people, which is why I want to make the first move. Hearing this, Manager Lum burst out laughing. Haha, young Master Jiang, you really are incredibly loyal. When it comes to the Blood Wolf mercenary group, besides Tran Dong, they have 6 other bronze rank awakened. The rest of their members are all black iron rank or higher. They rarely travel alone. Tran Dong only came here to investigate the murder of the leader's youngest son, Eppa. With their leader currently away, this is your perfect opportunity. But even for you, young Master Jiang, taking on several bronze rank awakened at once is going to be incredibly tough, isn't it? Jiang Li answered. Yeah, you are absolutely right, Manager Lum continued. Their strongest fighter is Leader Liatin, a level 39 Greystone Knight. His specialty is defense, so whatever you do, do not get dragged into a battle of attrition with him. However, the news about Trenong hasn't gotten out yet. They must all still be outside the Blackstone Mountains. Young Master Jiang, you still have a little time left. Jiang Li curiously asked, what are they even doing out there? Manager Lum explained. At first, I thought they went there to hunt a boss. But after digging deeper, I found out they were hired by the Vong clan. Yeah, it's a commission. Jiang Li was absolutely stunned. The Vong clan was one of the 4 great families of Golden City. But you don't need to worry. The relationship between them is just a standard business contract. Right now, the Blood Wolf mercenaries aren't allied with any major faction. Word is, the eldest son of the Vong clan, Voom Kim Yam, just awakened as a beast tamer. So, the family spent a massive fortune hiring mercenary groups to find an Earth Dragon egg. That was when Manager Lum realized he had rambled a bit too much. Damn it, back to business. If you're really determined to go against the Blood Wolf mercenaries, then I'd like to lend you a hand. How about this? Come by my place at the Golden Dragon Pavilion. Inside the fusion room, Manager Lum stepped forward to introduce it to Jiang Li. I'm sure you've mastered plenty of spells, but everyone has a limit on their skill slots. Because of that, some low-level spells will automatically get discarded. That's why the Golden Dragon Pavilion built this room. In here, you can, fuse a mage's spells together. By doing that, you can acquire a completely new spell. However, skills created from this fusion process cannot be used for a second fusion. This must be your first time here, right? Try fusing Fireball and Arcane Arrow. Those are the most basic spells. Jiang Li placed his hand on the magic book on the table, and a line of information popped up. Reading magic. Fireball spell confirmed. Arcane Arrow spell confirmed. Commencing fusion. Congratulations. You have received a new skill, Chain Lightning Ball. Hearing this, Jiang Li found it hard to believe he could actually create a new type of magic this way. Although he had combined the effects of 2 spells before, this method genuinely saved him a lot of skill slots. Jiang Li turned around. Thank you, Mr. Lum. The cost. Well, for this information and the spell fusion is covered by the gear I just brought. If it's not enough, I'll provide more. Also, there's something else I wanted to ask. To be honest, I need a gold-grade socketing gem. but even Master Wang can't guarantee a successful inlay rate. But the master did show me a way. He said the teeth of the Thunder Crocodile leader can boost the success rate, but that boss is incredibly cunning. It's already been half a day, and I haven't even caught a glimpse of it. Hearing this, Trenong burst into laughter. Haha, Zhang Li, I think I've already got exactly what you need ready. He then reached out his hand, gesturing for the attendant to bring over the item he had prepared. Rumor has it that this bait can lure out the Thunder Crocodile leader. Originally, Master Wang asked me to find it, but then he broke through to the gold rank. Even with, well, this bait. That boss probably wouldn't dare show its face to him anymore. Since he entrusted this task to you, it only makes sense to hand this over to you. Zhang Li didn't hesitate to take the bait from Mr. Lum. This was truly a godsend. How much is this bait? Just as Zhang Li was about to speak, Manager Lum cut him off. The gear you brought earlier is more than enough to cover this. In fact, there's quite a bit left over. So, Zhang Li, I wish you the best of luck. Afterward, Zhang Li headed back to the Thunder Swamp and threw the bait straight into the lake. He waited for a moment, and bubbles began rising from the depths. Right then, a bolt of lightning crashed down from the sky, signaling the arrival of the boss. Zhang Li smirked. You finally showed your face. A notification popped up. Level 33, Boss, Thunder Crocodile Leader. It opened its massive maw, roaring as if charging up an attack. Zhang Li got into a stance, ready to use his swift footwork. He instantly leaped high into the air to dodge. A black iron rank class would definitely struggle to survive a hit like this. Zhang Li glanced down. You sure know how to pick a fight, but too bad for you. You crossed the wrong guy today. Zhang Li conjured his ice spike skill. The boss also opened its mouth wide, preparing to unleash a skill of its own. Right after that, boom! A bolt of lightning struck down from the heavens, right where Zhang Li was standing. Good thing I activated my light armor spell just in time. That was close. But this is where it ends. Zhang Li then fired the ice arrows hovering in midair straight at the boss. He looked at the damage from his attack. It was barely a scratch. TCG. This thing's armor is ridiculously tough. If external attacks won't work, then I'll just blast you from the inside. He timed it perfectly. Just as it opened its mouth to unleash a skill, a fireball materialized in Zhang Li's hand. Without a second thought, he threw the fireball straight down the boss's throat. Here's a nice little present for you. Zhang Li activates his delay spell, paralyzing the monster's body and leaving it completely unable to move. Slowly, Zhang Li approaches it. Lightning will amplify the destructive power of fire. You had no idea about that flame, but luckily, you just had to open your big mouth, saving me a whole lot of trouble later on. Zhang Li conjures a sharp ice spike behind the spear, splitting it in half with a single strike. A notification pops up. Character level increased by 2. Current level is 27. The ice arrow and soft bone skills have fused into the ice spear skill. Not only does it have the weakening effect of the soft bone skill, but it also gains the increased damage from ice arrow. What is more, it is now a single, unified skill. Before this, I had to cast both skills at the same time. It looks like I can start thinking about fusing even more skills now. Oh, wait, I almost forgot. How should I handle all these materials? Should I just pull its teeth out directly? The scene shifts to Zhang Li returning to the blacksmith shop, waiting outside. So much time passes that he ends up falling fast asleep without even realizing it. Finally, the door creaks open. Kid, it is done. Hearing this, Zhang Li wakes up and walks over to the master blacksmith. How did it go? The man confidently replies, Do you even need to ask? The fusion was absolutely perfect. Even though your way of gathering materials was not the best, what you brought back is still usable. Just then, the staff's info panel appears. Scepter of the Abyss, Gold Grade, plus 50 magic power. Attached skill, Demon Sigil, summons a demonic mark to target an enemy. The next spell will detonate this mark, dealing 4 times the damage. Consumes 100 mana. Cast time is 0.5 seconds. Cooldown is 60 seconds. Level requirement is 25 or higher. Class, Mage. Zhang Li scratches his head sheepishly. Well, it was my first time gathering materials by myself. But looking closely, the staff's magic power has increased significantly, and it even comes with an incredibly overpowered skill. With this in hand, everything is ready. But suddenly, he receives a call from Manager Lin. As soon as Zhang Li answers, the man says in a rush, Mr. Zhang, I have some extremely important news for you. We just received intel from our sources that the Blood Craze mercenary group is planning to raid the Earth Dragon Cave tomorrow. The detailed information has already been sent to you. Zhang Lai looks surprised. Oh, the Earth Dragon Cave? Thank you, Mr. Lin. He thinks to himself, finally, those daredevils are showing their faces. It is time to get to work. The Blood Craze Mercenary Group, huh? Outside the Blackstone Mountains, at the Blood Craze Mercenary Group's camp. Boss, the third brother is dead. The red-haired man is the leader of the Blood Craze Mercenaries, Lythan. Trunk Tread continues to report. The last message he sent me said he found the one who killed Tu Kwang. But after he was killed, there was no more news. The opponent seems to be a young mage. Lythan roars, his face twisting with rage. A young punk of a mage dares to look down on us. But right now, the second prince's business is more important. The second prince's matter can help me rank up to the silver tier. Getting revenge then won't be too late. So, call all the brothers together. Gather our full force immediately. Prepare to move out. Hearing the assembly order, all the members gather in front of the leader's tent. At that exact moment, Zhang Lai is hiding behind a tree, quietly eavesdropping on them. Zhang Lai thinks to himself, so he is Lythan. Right then, Lythan announces, brothers, after so many days of searching high and low, we have finally found it. We have located the Earth Dragon Cave. Today is our absolute best shot at wiping out their nest. Recently, some of our brothers were brutally murdered by an enemy. But do not worry, boys. Just wait until I advance to the professional rank and reach the silver tier. I will personally hunt down that enemy, skin him alive, and rip his tendons out. Not just him, but his family and relatives too. One by one, they will all die, a horrific death right before his eyes. I will make them suffer the most agonizing torture in this world, so they know exactly why our Blood Craze Mercenary Group has this name. I, Lythan, will absolutely never let my brothers suffer any injustice. He raises his fist high, and the subordinates standing below look completely fired up, growing more determined by the second as they roar in unison. Long live the captain! Long live the captain! Standing behind them, Zhang Lai smiles faintly and thinks, I will just stay back and watch the situation first. Once they enter the Earth Dragon's territory, I will give them a massive surprise. The scene cuts to the Earth Dragon's territory. The group has arrived, and a massive Earth Dragon appears. Ha, now that is a decent-looking beast. Lythan draws his sword and points it straight at the Earth Dragon. Brothers, charge! The first ones to rush forward are immediately hit by a deafening roar from the Earth Dragon as a warning. Right after, it uses its massive tail as a weapon, swatting away those who are rushing in. The mages in the back also start launching fireballs at it. Meanwhile, the assassins try to circle around to its back. He relentlessly slashed at the beast's rock-hard hide with his dual daggers, but to his absolute horror, the assassin realized his blades were already completely chipped. This monster was just too damn durable. He felt the devastating impact of the Earth Dragon's charge, and before he could even swing his daggers to fight back, the beast sent him flying. Driving it even crazier, the Earth Dragon let out a deafening roar, activating its skill. The entire cavern began to shake violently. Rocks rained down, crushing one unlucky bastard who shrieked in agonizing pain. Just then, Li Xiaowen leaped forward to defend, using his stone shield skill to erect a solid barrier. He roared, "Fall back behind me, boys. I'll spearhead this attack. Wait for my command." He immediately charged forward, activating his giant tackle skill. Seeing this, his lackeys cheered, "Look, the earthquake stopped. Can the boss really take down a giant beast like that all by himself?" The captain is a freaking beast, but Li Xiaowen didn't have time for their flattery. He snarled at his men. "What are you useless trash just standing there for? Aim for its eyes and strike." The lackeys locked onto the dragon's eyes, immediately prepping their long-range skills. From archers to mages, everyone locked onto the target and unleashed their attacks. But suddenly, the onslaught ground to a screeching halt. Trying to regain the upper hand, the Earth Dragon swung its massive claws and lunged straight at Li Xiaowen. Left with no choice, Li Xiaowen braced himself to block the blow, screaming in fury. "What the hell are you useless trash doing? Don't stop attacking." But then, a cold shiver ran down his spine as agonizing screams erupted from his men. "Arg, who the hell just cast a firestorm? We're being ambushed." Right then, everyone in the cave was being engulfed and roasted alive by Zheng Li's flames. Stepping out from the sea of fire, he spoke with absolute coldness. "The Blood Frenzy mercenaries are indeed as elite as they say. But what a shame. Today, all of you will die here. Not a single soul is leaving this place alive." Two thugs in the distance screamed, You little brat. You've got some nerve ambushing the blood frenzy mercenary group. Boss, you focus on the Earth Dragon. Let us handle this punk. With that, they charged straight at him. Hearing this, Li Shaowen summoned every ounce of his strength to shove the Thunder Dragon's claws aside, sending the beast stumbling backward once more. His rage had reached its boiling point. Damn it, you really want to force my hand, don't you? Fine, I'm going all out today. He stomped hard on the ground, launching himself high into the air, and lunged straight down at the exhausted Thunder Dragon. An arrogant smirk played on his lips. Ha, and here I thought you were actually strong. But his triumph was short-lived, as the panicked screams of his men pierced the air once again. Quick! Surround him! Their trembling, terrified bodies were instantly impaled by a barrage of Zheng Li's ice arrows. How is this even possible? His casting speed? And the sheer power of this magic? What the hell are you? Zheng Li slowly advanced toward the crowd, sharp ice spears continuously forming around his hands. Save your breath. All you need to know is that I'm the one who's here to take your lives. With that, he unleashed the ice spears, but luckily, Li Xiaowen managed to rush over and intercept them with his shield. Yet, the ice arrows from Zheng Li's skill were powerful enough to pierce straight through the shield Li Xiaowen was holding. Zheng Li slowly stepped closer. Impressive. I'd expect nothing less from the renowned defense of a Greystone Knight. Li Xiaowen's eyes widened as realization struck him. Not only do you know who I am, but you also shattered my defense with such ease. You're that young mage, aren't you? So, that's why Xiao Chong and Chen Dong died by your hand. Since you've delivered yourself right to my doorstep, let's settle our score once and for all today. Zheng Li scoffed. You took the words right out of my mouth. That's been my plan all along. Zheng Li prepared to cast his next spell. Instantly, the ground beneath the mercenaries turned into a sinking swamp, trapping their feet so they couldn't take a single step. This is swamp magic. Zheng Li smirked with malicious intent. But I'm just getting started. Orbs of crackling lightning materialized and hovered around him. Li Xiaowen's heart sank in sheer terror. How is he casting? Two completely different spells at the same time. A lackey behind him shrieked a warning. Boss, watch out, those orbs are about to blow. Li Xiaowen quickly raised his shield. Bullshit. Watch me block this. But to his utter bewilderment, Zheng Li's lightning orbs shot straight down into the muddy swamp below. Li Xiaowen grimaced in pain. Battling the Earth Dragon earlier had already drained most of his energy. I have to use my trump card now. He immediately activated his absolute defense skill. A massive dome of solid rock shot up from the ground, sealing him inside and shielding him from all sides. Snug inside his stone fortress, Li Xiaowen gritted his teeth, thinking, he's cast so many high-level spells back to back. His mana has to be completely depleted by now. In this state, I can block any attack while slowly recovering my stamina. Just hold on a little bit longer, and I can activate my Giant's Descent skill. Outside, Zheng Li casually strolled forward. So, the great captain of the Bloodwolf mercenaries is nothing but a coward, hiding in his little turtle shell. Zheng Li once again gathered magic for a new spell, Demon Leopard Seal. I've been saving this skill just for a moment like this. With that, he hurled the spell directly at the stone dome where Li Xiaowen was hiding. The devastating blast completely shattered his impenetrable defense into a million pieces. Meanwhile, a few days later, in a small town, inside the Golden Dragon Pavilion, rumors are spreading like wildfire that the Bloodwolf mercenary group was found completely wiped out inside the Earth Dragon's lair. According to eyewitnesses, the one behind it was a mysterious mage clad in a black cloak. Lin Mo clicked his tongue and said to Zheng Li, Hey Zhang, looks like you're about to become famous, but your identity is still a complete secret. Those Bloodwolf mercenaries committed countless atrocities, so I'm sure a lot of people will want to thank you. Even better, they've already given you a title, Zhang Lele, the Dark Mage. Reading this, Zheng Li was a bit surprised, then let out a heavy sigh. He could only hope this wouldn't bring any more trouble his way. Just as they were talking, the door swung open, and two women walked in, none other than Shui and Qing Qing. Qing Qing spoke up first. Zheng Li, let's team up and enter the Pro Challenge tournament. Hearing this, Shui stomped her foot in frustration, saying, Hey, I was totally here first. The two of them then rushed forward, grabbing onto Zheng Li's arms. Wait, since when did you two even know each other? Zheng Li stammered, realizing that the trouble right in front of him was absolutely unavoidable.